So I want to talk to you about something called cognitive bias. And another way of saying this is that our thoughts work against us. Raise your hand if your thoughts have ever worked against you in your life. I mean, it happens to me almost every day. Second guess myself, I doubt, sometimes I'm overly confident. This is my thoughts working against me. I'm going to give you some examples of how this works when you're trying to cultivate leadership or cultivate an organization. And the first example is something called optimism bias, right? Optimism bias. And this is when you're so sure things are going to work out, right, that you stop looking at things that could possibly go wrong. You know, we're going to have great attendance at that next event. We really don't need to market it that much. Somebody told me one time, we shouldn't have to market our stuff. And I'm like, what are you, naive or stupid? One of the two things. You always have to market. You always have to cut through all the other noise. If you're having an event next Thursday, people have options. They could stay home and watch TV. They could stay home and have sex. and the thing is that if you want them to come to your event, you've got to convince them of what's called the value proposition. The value proposition. A value proposition for a conference, a value proposition for joining your organization, a value proposition for coming to your wine tasting. It's got to be clear and undeniable. Optimism bias. And if you're so sure that that value proposition is clear and you stop considering that people might not see it, you will have lower attendance than you want. It works like that. And if there's such a thing as optimism bias, you can guess there's something called pessimism bias. Raise your hand if you've ever thought, this is never going to work out. Everybody. You're so sure things aren't going to work out, you stop trying. Why try to raise money for that kind of a fundraiser? It's never going to work. Why bother trying to get anybody to join our organization? We haven't had a new member in 2 years. We don't have what people want anymore. And you give up. And those are your thoughts working against you, ladies and gentlemen.